We're on our way to one of the refugee camps in eastern Sudan for Ethiopian refugees. There's over 50,000 of them here, and this is actually our second time back here since the war began. And that's because the federal government in Ethiopia has implemented a total communications blackout. They've almost entirely blocked journalists from getting into Tigray. So we came back because talking to the refugees here is really the only way to piece together what's actually going on over there.
The civil war in Ethiopia began in November 2020, when Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed launched a military offensive against the governing party in the northern region of Tigray. Tensions there were high after the Tigray People's Liberation Front, or TPLF, held its own elections for the region against Abiy's orders.
We are confident in a relatively short period of time, we will accomplish our objectives and create a conducive environment for life to return to normalcy for our citizens in Tigray.
But the Tigrayan people have actually spent the past year fearing for their lives. The power struggle pitting Abiy's government forces and regional militias against Tigrayans have left them cut off from the rest of the country, with hundreds of thousands displaced, facing man-made famine and violence. This is Kuba, one of the 4 permanent camps in eastern Sudan where refugees from Ethiopia have fled, escaping the war at home.
Sexual violence has been a really defining and gruesome part of the war in Tigray. And a lot of people here and rights groups have told us that mass rape and sexual slavery have been committed by the Ethiopian military, by militias, the Eritrean troops. Some survivors have agreed to talk to us about it today.
Luam Desta finally made it to the camp months after she first escaped fighting in her hometown. As she fled, Desta was separated from her husband and imprisoned by a militia from the Amhara region known as the Fano. They accused her husband of fighting for Tigrayan forces.
ያው እቴማኡ መጀመሪያ አምጽዮ አበይ ዘላው ዘለዎ ተፈልጥ ይኽሎም ክንዴ ቀጥቂጦምኒ ክንዴ ወቂዖምኒ ንጓሌውን ብዙሕ አንጋላት ይዕማ
How long did they keep you and your daughter there?
3 ወር ክንዴ እንዳዳፍኡ ምሽት ዘሎ ቁፅርኻ ንዕና ምሳና ሓላፍ ጽዋዕ ኩነለው ኢሎም አውጽዮም ኣብ ሽንት ቤት ወሲዶም ሓደ ሓላዊ ተንኳለት ከ ኣብ ደስኦም ብዘይ ድሌት ይደፍሩ እዩ
And your daughter, how was she after 3 months there?
ድሕሪ እስሬት ብዙሕ ጥዕና የብላን ሌት ትድንግጾ ነገር ኔዋ በቃ ምንም ጥዕና የብላን በቃ ነፍሳውን በቃ ካብ ድሕሪ ምንም የወስኻት ነው ዝመጸ በቃ ጥዕና የብላን
There are many women who went through the same thing as you who told us they were too afraid to show their faces. Why are you doing this openly?
كم دلا فقادنيا زخون كل مهنات يا حد بيتسوي بيوت من باري زنباري زي فوت سوات من الله بيوت كم زلهم فلتو بشم تقرأون أنا بتعمي زهرة أنا سايا كل سب فلت اللي يدلي من مزفر حل مهنات كا يبلي
1,288 cases of sexual violence were registered between February and April alone. And because of the lack of access for aid workers and the destruction of health facilities, that's likely just a fraction of crimes committed, according to Amnesty International. In August, they released a report that said that the scale of the violations, quote, amount to war crimes and may amount to crimes against humanity.
زملጡ
32-year-old Jeanette Kahasi has been living at Kuba for 9 months. She says after Ethiopian forces took her town, they tricked her family and their neighbors into returning home by promising them that they were safe.
قبر أي كالكل
بيني خويني نعمس قتلوا خانا عين نعمصني ثلاثة أربعة وينهم عميصني زنارا نورت بمولو وسيدهم عيني دارو خو قربي قتلهم بدم تمو روح جبري قالت.
So they didn't allow you to bury him or to mourn him.
حاول ጭራሽ ትግሬ ነው ይሄ ትግሬ ተቀብሪ ነው እንዳናሱኒ መታወቂያ ይሄ ትግሬ ነው ቅድር እዚ ወርቅ ዝነበረ እዚ አገ ዝነበረ በሙሉ ንብረቴ ወሲዶም ተባሳቢስና ወፂና መፂና ብለይቲ.
And was it the Amhara Fano militia who did that to your family?
ፋኖና ወታደር ንምጥፋእ ዘርኢ ትግራዋይ ንምጥፋእ እዮም ተዳኢሎም ዘብሰዝዮ أمبر زرقت غراين متفاتزي خون نيرو تخكلنيا باستز خون نيرو ودان وداتين باسمه قالن سيتي اي تقع نيرا قالن سيتي حما انصبوناي بدل يبصح نير كلتا سلسته ساين حانت سيت مقساس مالك دعم حما اي دعم وانجلو حاجه هذا لا علامات بمولو قلنا يرأل ولعنا بودي تدرينا.
The war took a surprising turn in June when Tigrayan forces retook most of Tigray and reinstalled the TPLF government. They quickly pushed into neighboring Amhara and Afar regions. With government forces on the back foot, reports of horrific reprisal attacks emerged. In August, 28 bodies, some with hands tied and bullet holes, washed up on the shores of a river on the Sudanese border. Witnesses believe they came from Tigray. The Ethiopian government called the discovery a fake propaganda campaign. Now, a war that started as a political feud is a full-blown ethnic conflict. In July, Prime Minister Abiy tweeted that the enemy is a cancer and a weed that needs to be uprooted, a statement that the UN believes fuels those tensions. And its rhetoric that has emboldened militias to attack other minority ethnic groups. Idmasu Molo is an ethnic command, a minority group from northern Ethiopia. He arrived in Sudan less than a month ago and is scared that the family he left behind in Amhara will be targeted by the same militias attacking Tigrayan civilians.
በጣም የጦርነት ቦታ ነው አሁን ራሱ ሀዛው ያሉበት ቦታ በጣም አስጊ ቦታ ነው አሁን ጦርነቱ ሀዛ በጣም ህቀስክሶ ነው ያለ እየተጋገጥመው ነው ያሉት በጣም ነው ምንፈራ በቃ ህዝቦቻችንን ያልቃሉ ብለን በጣም ነው ምንፈራ.
What was going on in your town at the time that you left?
ስለዚህ በሀገራችን ላይ አሁን አማራና የኢትዮጵያ መከላከያ ሰራዊት የሚያደርገን በደል በጣም ቀላል አይደለም። እኛም ብቻ ቅማንተን ብቻ በመተመለከተ አይደለም ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ አሁን ዘር ማጥፋት ነው ተይዟል በሙሉ በቃ የሃይማኖት ማለት የብሔር አገሮችን በሙሉ.
Given how the war is spreading recently, can you see a time in the future where Amhara can live together with Command and Amhara can live together with Tigray?
አሁን ያሉት ብቻ ለብቻ ነው ግን ያው ቀጣይ ጊዜ ማገር ሰላም ከሆነ ጥሩ መንግስት ከመጣ ባንድ ላይ ይሆናሉ ብለን እንገምታለን። አሁን ግን ሁለታቸውም የግል መንግስታቸውን ስለያዙ.
So who do you blame then for the fact that now the war has taken this turn to different ethnic groups fighting each other?
መጠየቅ የሚቻል ከሆነ በአሁኑ ሰዓት መጠየቅ ያለበት የኢትዮጵያ መንግስት ነው። ፌደራላዊ መንግስትና የሀገሪቱ መከላከያ ሚኒስትሮች ናቸው መጠየቅ ያለባቸው.
The international community is sounding the alarm that all of Ethiopia, once considered a beacon of stability in Africa, might soon be pulled into a war that risks destabilizing the entire region. Many survivors of the conflict are already laying the blame at Prime Minister Abiy's feet and making sure the next generation won't forget.
كل سنة تجافجفوا كل سنة تعالاشوا كل سنة تجاماليوس رجنا أبي أحمد عندنا طلعت فيها جملة أنا معك كم حزن.
And your boys, what do you want for their future?
بس إذا بقى تستقر نجارات كم رمية خناق رمية بزك على المتن تمرت كم رمية جيت أنا أبوهم كم زفادي أزقبر عليك ده أبوهم أبي حمد قتيل وندا خمراني
قدم طورنا تعمينا صبون يلا حدا جزا حمش عمتنا تقميتنا استقمتنا لهم جزا محاري منيرم تعمينا صبون يرنا مستمسو جزا نوعلو بقى بحدا نولع نساتي بقى تعمينا صبون يرنا تعم فقرينا تقميتنا نيرنا هم جرشوا حما غيرنا نعنا صبو يغورنا.
So after the Amhara forces entered your town, what happened?
نبرت كله تزاريفي يرو بقى سمقت الحما حدا نقر سم حراد قلة تجميرو هزاونت محراد أديتات مدفار بزح نقر تفتيرو.
A well-known Amhara militia called Fano were mobilized to fight alongside the army early in the war. Then, as the conflict spread into Amhara in July, the government called on all able-bodied civilians to take up arms, hardening ethnic divisions in an already divisive war. After Luam Desta was kicked out of her home, she was held for 3 months in a Fano-run prison, where she says she and other Tigrayan women were forced into sex slavery and tortured.
تقرأت مقانع أنا زوك في عزوز حنبر أو نيران والقطوت نيران نام حارون نيران سيلان بغالي نجار استأثرة نعاتا من ما يبلون نيران تقرأت زخون ناقل بزح نجار وتحنا.
How did you finally get out of prison?
برش فيلم من سوسدنا يا كلهم نفانو كلهم حلفت متهم نحد سبب 10 شهور يوما 10 شهور خفيلو متهم يا إيديك شيء نورن ما حزاي نيرا ناي بعد جزاي من زفلت واحد حرسات نيرا ما واتهم كفيلو ما واتهم.
After 3 months in captivity, how do you feel about the men that held you there?
أنا بتعمل حما السمعني بتعمل حما السمعني مش دايما مالتي سكا حجي.
What's life been like for you here at the camps?
أنا مسوية بمركاية حجي بتعمي يتصبو زلهم بتعمي نتصبو زنينا حاجز بزكبرنا بتعمينا نمسكن بتعمي نتصبو زلنا حجي زاوير مسكن.
After months reliving their collective trauma in the camps and no hope of returning home, many Tigrayans have doubts about living in a united Ethiopia, even if the conflict ends soon.
You said that before Amhara and Tigrayan lived happily together. Do you think that's possible now after these last months of war?
أحس هينور زخلو قفع زخلو حواتنا تقاتلهم عديتاتنا تقاتلنا حواتنا تحريدهم دحر حجي مسامحة سلام الله إلى حسن سلام نبرة مسلم بزح قفع أبزح ملاني والدي بزح سوي تفريدنا